Hey everyone, I'm Alyssa Healy and this is my wicket keeping masterclass. So for any of the young kids out there that are thinking about getting into wicket keeping, these are some of the tips and tricks that I've got to best suit you and obviously become the best wicket keeper you can. So there's three really important things you got to think about when you're wicket keeping, and that's basically your head, your hands and your feet. So a lot about wicket keeping is obviously watching the ball. That's the most important thing, don't forget that one. But also about what positions you're getting into to enable yourself to catch the ball best. So if you think about your hands, your head and your feet all working together, moving together and getting yourself in the right position to then catch the ball is probably the simplest way to talk about it. So when we're talking about wicket keeping up to the stumps, to the spinners, an easy trick to work out your positioning. For me personally, I like to mark my off stump. That's generally a good indication of where my left foot needs to be. Obviously it might change depending on who's bowling and what sort of angles they're coming at. But as a really easy starting guide, having your left foot behind off stump is the best place to be. I generally like to mark out exactly how deep I need to be as well. It's a couple of shoe lengths away. That gives me the best chance to know I'm in a good spot that I can still reach the stumps when I take the ball and want to get a stumping. So I've marked my stump, I've marked my positioning of how far back I need to be to reach the stumps. And for me, it's all about finding a really comfy position down in my squat. This is all this squat is really there for. It's to get myself comfy, set, so that I can push myself up into a power position when the bowler's ready to let the ball go. For me, my hands are quite relaxed on the ground. Yours might be together, ready to go, whatever's comfortable for you, but mine's quite relaxed. And then with the hope of, when the bowler's ready to let the ball go, I'm in a good position, lift my bum a little bit so that I'm in a power position, get my hands together so that I can move and take the ball. And like I said, you're a good distance away to take the bails off if need be. The second part with that is obviously about your head. So your hands are obviously going to follow your head and your feet are probably going to follow your head as well, whichever way you might move that. So if I've got a leg spin bowler that's bowling to me, I need to make sure my head's in line with the ball and then follow and react when the ball spins as well. So that means to move my head across. So for me, I'm up in my power position, my hands are ready. My head is going to push my feet across, right over my hands. I'm going to watch the ball into my gloves and take the bails off. So one thing that you might hear a lot of people talk about in wicket keeping is length of catch. I think this one's a really interesting one. In particular, everybody's different. Well, wicket keeping, even right around the world, is very different to one another. I know in Australia, we like to have our hands right out in front. We used to talk about giving with the ball back in and then taking it to the stumps. If you watch a lot of English keepers, they catch it here out in front, don't give it all, they just take the bails off. MS Dhoni, prime example of that as well in India. But it's really up to you and what your style and technique is, but I think the one trend is that your hands are out in front, in line with your eyes and your head, and that means you're in a really good position to be in a great spot. Let's say if the batter does nick it, the ball turns a little bit more than what you think it's going to do, so then you can react with the ball and still get the ball back to the stumps to effect the dismissal. So one of the other problems that you're going to face as a wicketkeeper, in particular in the modern game, is actually being able to see the ball. The most important thing in wicketkeeping is to watch the ball, but sometimes you might find that the batters are moving around so much, there's a lot of distractions in front of you, that you forget to watch the ball. How you do that, really important. For me, I'm down in my crouch, I'm ready to go, telling myself to watch the ball first and foremost. I'm not too worried about the batter in front of me and what they're doing. I'm just going to watch the ball out of the bowler's hand. But importantly, if the batter moves, changes their location, looks to play a ramp, whatever it might be, it's going to be really important for me to get in a position that I can see the ball. You might have seen some wicketkeepers around the world when the batter comes back deep in their crease to actually just lean to the side a little bit, even get a little bit wider in their crouch, just so that they can track the ball as long as they possibly can, because that's basically the aim of wicketkeeping. If you can track the ball, watch it bounce and then react to whatever it does off the wicket, you're going to be in a really good space to watch that. So Don't be afraid to move your positioning. We've marked off stump and that's where we want to start. But if a batter's batting outside off stump and you can't see, feel free to move your positioning just that little bit wider and make sure you're giving yourself the best opportunity to see the ball bounce. If you need to react down leg side, you're in a great position to do just that. So one of the trickier things in wicket keeping up to the stumps to the spinners is taking the balls down leg side. There's many different ways, different techniques to do it. This is how I do it. So you can replicate this if you want, or you can search up some other masterclasses if you want as well. But the idea for me, so I'm down in my crouch, getting ready to get into my power position. I'm tracking the ball as long as I can, and that's a real key for me. I want to be able to see the ball bounce and get the most amount of information before I move down there and get blocked by the batter. Because as we know, the more we move this way, the more the batter's going to get in the way. So as much information as I can possibly get, maybe even wait till the ball bounces, catch everything, let my mind take over and go, okay, this is where it's going to be. And then the technique in it is I'm up in my power position, my gloves are together. For me, it's one big step with my left leg to make sure I'm outside leg, let my hands and my head follow, come up with the ball. I might do a little skip across, and then obviously I've got to get the ball back in my right hand to take the bails. If you're skillful enough to catch the ball in your right or your left hand and go two hands, amazing. But for me, it's one. So it looks like this. So I'm down, power position, one big step, hands and head together, and then ball back to the stumps. But as much information as you could possibly get of the ball coming down the wicket while I'm on this offside is going to put you in the best position to read the ball before you lose sight of it behind the batter. Obviously, there's a little bit of differences when you're keeping up to the stumps or when you're keeping back. In particular in Australia, we tend to keep back from the stumps a little bit more, get a little bit more carry, a bit more bounce in the wickets over here. So there's a couple of important little keys that you need to think about when you're doing that. So for me, the setup's pretty similar, to be honest with you. I mean, I like to mark myself a little line so that I know the depth that I need to be at. More often or not for me, I always step into that position and then go down into my crouch. But I like to think that my bowlers are pretty good, so I give myself a little line outside the line of off stump. I don't need to cover leg side too much because they're pretty good at what they do. Cover this channel so that I'm ready for a nick, a big hanger in front of the slips cordon. But for me, I generally like to be on the move a little bit, so that's a step into my mark. I'm down into my crouch. Like I said, the crouch is more just a comfortable position for me. It's an opportunity for me to get set. Some keepers start really high and go down into their power position, and some start low and go up. I'm a start low, go up sort of gal, just so that I don't have to go back down again. But I'm here, I'm in comfy in my crouch. The bowler's running in, she's starting to come into her delivery stride, and I'm up into my power position. So the power position, really important. It's up here, it's engaging my quads, my glutes, my hamstrings. It's using all the big muscles in my body to get me in a really powerful position so that if I need to explode that way to take a nick, I can do that. Or if I need to explode down leg side to take a dismissal or to get one that the bowler's sprayed wide, I can do that as well. So timing of that, pretty important. You don't want to be in your power position too long. It's obviously quite energy zapping. So you get down into your crouch, bowler's running in, into her delivery stride. I'm up in my power position, taking a little step just to clear a little bit. I'm even more powerful here. And then basically, the ball's outside off stump. All I'm really thinking about is taking the ball on the inside of my hip just to give me a little bit more room for error. So I'm moving across, hands out in front, head over my hands, and I want to take the ball. Basically, it's going to end up in the middle of your body, but you're going to take it on the inside hip, throw it to your mate at slip, right? So what it looks like quicker, for me, I play around with my gloves because that's what I do. Down into my crouch, up into my power position, I've cleared, using the big muscles in my body to get across and take the delivery. Obviously, it sets me up quite nicely to take a big hanger in front of first slip because that's what we all ultimately really want to do. Don't let first slip get a hand on anything. But that'll set you up the best possible way to be able to do that. For me personally, footwork back to the fast bowlers is really, really important. I think if you watch wicket keeping around the world, some players value it more than others, but I still think being able to get your body in the right position to get your head and your hands in line with the ball is going to give you the best chance of catching it. And I think that makes your footwork and your body position even more important. So make sure you're nice and strong in your lower half so that you enable yourself to get in the best position so that you can take some absolute hangers. So for me, obviously the product itself, the wicket keeping gloves are really important. I've been really lucky to have used Kookaburra gloves right throughout my life and my cricketing career. And they've changed a little bit over time, but for me, these are the things that I look for to make sure, A, I'm most comfortable, and that'll allow me to go and do my job properly. I like quite a snug fit. I've got a really small hand, so I'm quite a youth-sized gloves, but still in the player's make, so they've got plenty of protection. But I like a really snug fit around my hands. They'll loosen up over time, but for me that's really important. I feel like then I know exactly where my hands are. I can feel exactly where the ball is in my glove, most importantly, and I can make little subtle technical changes if I'm feeling like I'm catching the ball in my fingers or, you know, a little bit further down my palm. I can change that on the run. So that's really important to me. I would love a really nice big webbing, but that's changed. Unfortunately, it's not legal anymore. So, but a nice compact fit for me suits the best. And I love to play around with my gloves like this. So having actually a cuff on them is actually more of a comfort thing. It's like a safety blanket for me. I'm tapping my gloves down all the time, making sure my fingers are in the right space to do that. But yeah, the Kookaburra make is all, there's lots of different options to try, whether you're starting out your wicket keeping journey or obviously later on in your career, there's different cuts and sizes that you can try. But most importantly, it's what works for you, and that's a big surface area to catch the ball, and ultimately you'll be able to get your job done. That's been my wicket keeping masterclass. I hope you guys have taken something out of it or learnt a little bit. There's obviously many different ways to go about wicket keeping, but there's some of the tips and tricks that I look at to do the job to the best of my ability. So all the very best with your keeping journeys. I can't wait to watch them.